for a Supermax sitting in front of him. He has until December 21st to sign it. If he doesn't sign it, it's not like he's asking for a trade. He has said he wants to stay with the Bucks through the season. He would have the opportunity, if he doesn't sign it by the time opening night happens, he could sign it next offseason, or he could become a free agent next offseason, which the Bucks certainly would like to avoid. Giannis also said it is not a title or bust situation for Milwaukee in his eyes this season. So, Amin, what's your reaction to all of that?
My reaction is if he had a strong desire to stay in Milwaukee, he'd sign a Supermax extension. Now, obviously, he's still got a couple of weeks before he has to make that decision. But the reality is no one in Milwaukee can feel good if he doesn't sign it by then. That doesn't mean it's all over, but clearly something has shaken his confidence in the situation for him not to take this enormous big bag of money right now.
Yeah, and I think Giannis, he really has shown just in that one instance, that one clip that we just got, sort of a masterclass in deflecting. And that's exactly what we want to do as athletes. When you're dealing with a potential contract situation, I mean, a lot of things are nuanced, and it's better to have your representatives talk for you and just focus on the basketball. And if I'm Giannis, especially with the way that they exited the playoffs and the bubble, I'm focusing on my game. We saw this with the start of, after that whole period where they lost. He cleans social media, he takes a break, he recalibrates, he goes on vacation. I saw all those yacht pics and all that type of stuff, but he's still working and grinding. And so he's going to try to put himself in the best position to improve on basketball, and he'll leave everything else to the people that deserve to handle it.
Well, look, it's complicated, right? We know where he comes from. We know how hard his family had to work just to put food on the table. The idea of being able to sign a contract for $232 million, that is security for your entire family that cannot be matched. On the other hand, there is optionality with deciding to kick the can down the road for another season. And Giannis has said over and over how competitive he is, how much he wants to win. And it will be interesting to see if he believes that he can get that with the Bucks if he signs up for the long term. And I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, he should sign it, secure the bag now. And players are asking for trades all over the place. He wouldn't be able to ask for a trade for 2 years if he signed this Supermax deal before December 21st. But he could, I guess, then go to the Bucks in a couple years and say, get me out of here, the way James Harden has. But isn't the danger of that, you're then the malcontent, right? You're then the one who's under the microscope the way James Harden is right now, and you don't get to pick where you would go.
I mean, star players tend to get to go where they want to go, right? No one ever gets traded to Siberia and somehow, we never heard from them again when you're that good. But the reality is, Rachel, the numbers are skewed because we keep assuming that if he doesn't sign it and he leaves in free agency, he'll sign a long-term deal somewhere else. And we know that's not the play. The play is to go short and then come back when you're a 10-plus year vet and then make up some of that money, especially when we hope that the cap will have gone back up after all of this COVID stuff is blown over.
Yeah, and Giannis, I think he's playing this right in the sense that obviously we want his long-term security, especially as an athlete that puts their body on the line. I'm speaking to someone who's been injured,
Sure.
And so having that security really helps. But at the same time, when you think about Giannis and the Bucks, they did what he wanted. They sat down with him. They said, you are the priority. They brought in a player by the name of Drew Holiday, who is one of the most underrated players in the NBA on both ends, defensively and offensively. So they've done what he's asked, and I think he's giving them time, and he's doing it respectfully.
Yeah, I mean, you can see video of Giannis and Drew Holiday going at it in practice. How much of an impact do you expect Drew to make this season? I mean, for someone like Giannis, too, just opening up his game.
Look, he's a competitor,
I think the main thing, Rachel. Oh.
Go ahead, Amin.
Good.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think the main thing, Rachel, is to remember that he's a massive upgrade over Eric Bledsoe, and that's not to say Eric Bledsoe is not a good player. He's an all-defensive player, but Drew Holiday is a cut above defensively and obviously a cut above offensively, and that will bring some stability to that.
Right. He says, quote, everything is on the table when it comes to extension talks with the Warriors, and here is what he said about his long-term plans. Take a listen.
We have conversations. I mean, everything's on the table right now. I know just in terms of everything I talked about being a Warrior and what the future holds. Obviously fully committed on what that is, and understanding that I got to do what's right, for me and the team and having those conversations, I feel blessed to be in that position where I can say that and truly believe it. So it's a matter of just letting things kind of play out the way that they should, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
All right, guys, so get your emojis ready. Is Curry saying he wants to retire a Warrior? BS or real talk? Emojis up. Let me see. What? All right, Amin, I would like you to explain your 100, and also, bonus question, how easy or hard is this going to be for him, given the complexities of keeping a guy with one team his whole career?
Well, Rachel, you kind of blew the lead right there, because what I was going to say was I 100% believe that is his intention. That's what he wants to do. It's the only franchise he's known. But because we know how the NBA works, it's kind of BS. Nobody does this, right? Dirk, Kobe Bryant, Reggie Miller. Name one other person who's played 10 plus years with the same franchise and retired there. We can't name any, because the way this league works is at some point you are going to be a diminishing value for the franchise, and they will move on in order to secure a brighter future or else get dragged down with it. And the reality is Steph does have strong ties to the Charlotte area. I expect him one day to play for the Charlotte Hornets. So I believe him, but I don't think it's going to happen.
That can be true. That can be true, Amin. But you know what's really funny? You know, when I got to Stanford in 2010 as a basketball player and a student, that's when the Warriors really started turning around. And Steph Curry is synonymous with Golden State, especially with this new late success. And I feel like this is a team now currently constructed, and even for the years in the future, that has an opportunity to win as long as he steps on the court. And we're talking about how many years he's been in the league. He's already been, I know he has a baby face, and we call him a baby face assassin, like Devin Booker too. But he's entering his 12th season, right? And he's the longest tenured player in the league, still with his original team. Meaning he is the only guy, the longest time with the team. I don't think he's going to mess that up, maybe for Charlotte, but I can see him staying in Golden State for the whole time.
Well, and look, some of it is up to
Tim Duncan and Manu.
Well, some of it is up to the player, though. I mean, you mentioned Dirk, right? Okay, well, Dirk took a lot of pay cuts to stay with the Warriors. He worked with the team in terms of roster maneuvering, and he also decided it was more important for him to stay with Dirk to stay with the Mavericks than it was to maybe go chase a title somewhere else. There were years where they weren't good and he could have gone somewhere else, but instead he wanted to stay in Dallas. So part of this is going to be up to Steph, and part of it will just be difficult, but we'll see if he can do it. Steph Curry's pulled off the difficult plenty of times before. We'll keep talking about West point guards, guys, because I want to move on to Dame Lillard. Much like Steph, Dame is known for his extended range, earning the nickname Logo Lillard for his frequent shots from more than 30 feet. But apparently, he's planning to extend his range even further this season. Here's what he said when asked if he would shoot from half court in a game this season. This was from The Athletic's Jason Quick. Quote, "Very possible. Obviously, I'm not just going to be out here every game firing every shot from half court, or maybe not even every 20 games. Might be once or twice the whole season that I feel like, F it. If I get in a game and I hit 3 threes in a row, that's when you should have your eyes open, because it might be going up from half court at that point." Dame says he's going to shoot half court. BS or real talk, guys? Emojis up. Let's see him. There we go. Chene, give it to me.
All right, let me tell you this. Damian Lillard is going to shoot. Shooters shoot. And again, we saw this especially late in the playoffs when it came to the bubble, making that push. They were double teaming him around the hash mark, even double teaming him as he crossed half court to force the ball out of his hands. And if he's made a few, he will shoot that shot. He walks into a gym. I'm talking about, it could be Lifetime, it could be 24-hour fitness, it could be, you know, obviously wherever gym they're at in the NBA, the stadium, the arena. His mentality is that he can make any shot. And I remember hearing that Dame, he led the NBA last season with makes from 30 feet or longer.
Yep.
Now, half-court shots are 47 feet from the basket, 47 feet. He's working on it, and I'm telling you, if he is shooting it, he believes he can make it. And if he believes he can make it, he's going to take it in an NBA game.
Yeah, his percentage was high as over 30 attempts. Absolutely.
Yeah, Chiney, you're absolutely right. You know, the effect that it has on opposing defenses, it stretches everybody out, so it gives more space for the other 4 players on the court offensively. But the other thing is, he works on it. He's done it before. He's great at it. He does it all the time. That's what makes it allowable. And because of that, he has organizational support. Right? Anyone can say I'm a shoot from half court, but without organizational support, and that means your teammates, your coaches, everybody, you can't really do this in a game. Chiney, can you imagine pulling up from half court in the middle of the game, not letting anybody know?
Look, I got my sister on my squad. She's actually here in LA right now. I've got Derek Fisher. That's my friend. Derek Fisher is my coach with the LA Sparks.